You're not you. And it's not because you're fake. It's because you learned how to survive. You are the version that works best in each room. At work, you're professional. With friends, you're relaxed. With family, you're patient. On social media, you're interesting. In relationships, you're confident. But tell me something. When you're alone, who are you? Because the truth is this. You don't have a fixed personality. You have versions, adjusted versions, calibrated versions, socially acceptable versions, and you call that maturity. But most of the time, it's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough when someone finally sees you without filters. This is the mask game, and you play it every single day. The mask didn't start as a lie. It started as protection. There was a moment, maybe you don't even remember, when you were too real. Maybe you were too excited, too sensitive, too confident, too different, and someone reacted. They laughed. They ignored you. They diminished you. And in that moment, you learned something dangerous. Being completely yourself has a cost. So you adjusted. A little less emotion here. A little less opinion there, a little more control, a little more calculation, and it worked. You were more accepted, more included, more validated. The mask did its job. The problem? You never took it off. Today you don't walk into a room. You scan it. Who has power? Who can be useful? Who needs approval? Who should be avoided? And you adapt, almost automatically. Your tone changes, your posture shifts, your words become precise. You're not being fake, you're optimizing, but there's a price. And this is the part most people refuse to look at. The price is the exhaustion you feel after socializing. The price is that strange heaviness when you get home and the silence feels different. The price is not fully knowing what you actually think about certain things. The price is realizing that some of your opinions aren't fully yours. They're socially safe versions of them. And the scariest part? If every mask fell off tomorrow, would you recognize your own face? The world rewards performance. It doesn't reward raw authenticity. In a professional environment, too much honesty can cost promotions. In a social circle, too much difference can cost belonging. In a relationship, too much vulnerability can scare people away. So you learn balance. You learn to say enough to seem real, but not enough to be exposed. And slowly, the mask stops being a tool. It becomes identity. And that's why so many people feel empty, not because they lack success, not because they lack friends, not because they lack relationships, but because they're never fully present. They're always adjusting, always measuring, always filtering, and living like that is exhausting. You're not tired of life, you're tired of performing. And here comes the part that might hurt. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of being seen and not being enough. Because if you fail while wearing a mask, you can blame the character. But if you fail while being completely yourself, there's no shield, no excuse, just exposure. And human beings will choose almost anything over feeling exposed. But here's the truth, almost no one says the mask isn't the problem. Society runs on masks. Leaders wear masks. Entrepreneurs wear masks. Artists wear masks. Politicians live off masks. Masks are social tools. The problem isn't using them. The problem is forgetting you're wearing one. When the mask starts making decisions for you, when you choose paths based on approval, when you shape dreams to be more acceptable, when your life is built to be admired instead of lived, that's when the game flips. You're no longer playing. You're being played. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't? How many times have you laughed at something that wasn't funny? How many times have you agreed just to avoid conflict? How many times have you dimmed your light so you wouldn't intimidate anyone? Small things, small compromises, but repeated over years, they become structure. And one day you wake up with a life that looks right on the outside, but feels distant on the inside. Now pay attention. I'm not telling you to remove every mask. That would be naive. The world isn't neutral, but there's a massive difference between using a mask consciously and living unconsciously through it. When you're conscious, you choose. When you're unconscious, you react. And most people are just reacting to fear, reacting to the need for approval, reacting to the fear of exclusion. Real freedom isn't being 100% authentic all the time. That's a romantic myth. Real freedom is knowing exactly when you're adapting and why. It's being able to take the mask off when you're alone and not feel strange. It's being able to look at yourself without performance, without an audience, without applause, without validation, just you. So let me end with this. You're not fake. You're intelligent enough to survive socially, but if you never question the game, you'll spend your entire life being the version that works best for others and never discover the version that works best for you. The mask game isn't about pretending. It's about awareness, because the moment you realize you're wearing a mask, you gain power. And the moment you gain power, you're no longer trapped by it. The only question is, the next time you walk into a room, will you adapt automatically, or will you consciously choose who you want to be? The game continues, but now you know you're playing.